It is Monday, May 11th, 2020. So we are wrapping up our multiplication unit this week. And so the last thing that we need to go over are solving word problems. So our learning targets are we can use multiplication strategies, and then we can solve multiplication word problems. So we're going to apply all of our knowledge we've learned about multiplication to help us solve word problems. You got this. I know you do. So remember, when we are solving a word problem, we have to think of the math action, and then we'll know which operation to use. So remember, a math action is what is happening in the word problem. You really have to think about what it is telling you, and then what is happening, and then that will help you figure out or decide which operation you need to use. And remember, the operation is what we use to solve the problem. So the operations that we've learned are addition, subtraction, and now we can add multiplication to that list. Okay, so when we're solving multiplication word problems, the math actions, remember that's what's happening in the problem, is put together equal sets. And then the operation, which is the type of math, is multiplication. So what does put together equal sets mean? The math action put together equal sets means that you are putting together groups or sets of the same number of objects. So this would be the poster that would be up in our room in the front above the whiteboard. Remember I had those posters? So we would add multiplication and then put together equal sets. So if you see in the picture, the groups or the sets is what it might be called, are like the purple pencil pouches. And there are 5 groups or pouches in this picture. And then the number of objects would be the color pencils. So I can see that there are 5 groups, and then there are 4 in each group. So we are multiplying or adding or putting together the same number, which is 4, 5 times. So you will put together equal groups. Okay, so when you're putting together equal sets or objects in the word problem, you will see these keywords in the problem. In all, altogether, total, each group, or each set. So now, think about it. We've seen these words before, right? We've seen the words in all, we've seen the words altogether, and we've seen the words total. But these keywords are very similar to addition, except for the words each group or each set. That's new. And let's look at the next slide and I'll tell you why. So what's the difference between multiplication and addition? So there is a very clear difference. Okay, so the keywords are very similar between multiplication and addition, but let me show you how they are different. So addition, you put together different amounts of objects. So it's still putting together, but the number of items or objects that you're putting together might be different. So in this group right here, we see 3 butterflies, but in this group, we see 2 butterflies, and these are not equal because 3 is different than 2. But if it were multiplication, you're going to put together the same amount of objects multiple times. So like in this picture with the pencil pouches, we are putting together 4, and then you're putting that number together 5 times. So it's 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4. Okay, and whereas addition, you might have like 3 plus 2, like this problem, or if you were using the same problem and the same objects like here, you wouldn't have the same amount of color pencils in the pouches. So you might have like 5 in one, 4 in another, 2 in another, and that would just be 5 plus 4 plus 2, which is regular addition. But multiplication, it's the same amount repeated over and over and over again. And that noise is me snapping over and over and over, okay? So let's solve a word problem together. Miss Fong baked cupcakes for her friends. She baked 2 cupcakes and delivered them to 4 of her friends. How many cupcakes did Miss Fong bake for her friends in all? So I want you to just think about that for a second. Think about what you just heard. So now, you know how we do word problems on Wednesdays? We're going to go through the same exact step. The same exact steps, more than one step. So don't forget, remember you need to read it once, read it twice, circle the information, box the question, think, what is the action, what's the operation, solve. Okay, so we're going to go through those steps like we usually do. We're going to read it once, then read it twice. So Miss Fong baked cupcakes for her friends. She baked 2 cupcakes and delivered them to 4 of her friends. How many cupcakes did Miss Fong bake for her friends in all? Let's read it again. Miss Fong baked cupcakes for her friends. She baked 2 cupcakes and delivered them to 4 of her friends. How many cupcakes did Miss Fong bake for her friends in all? So now we read it once, read it twice. We are going to circle the information. So think about what information you would circle. I'm going to give you a second. Okay, so if I were solving this, I would circle Miss Fong, baked, cupcakes, friends, baked 2 cupcakes, delivered them for friends. Okay, so what did I do? I baked cupcakes. How many did I bake? I baked 2 cupcakes and I delivered them. But how many did I bake for each friend? I had 4 friends and I baked 2 for each. So you see how I'm repeating the same number over and over again. Okay, so then we need to box the question. Then we're going to use 2 column notes to show our work. Before I move over to my 2 column notes, when we're solving the problem, okay, what are the strategies that I've taught you the past 2 weeks that you can use to solve multiplication word problems? Think, what are the different things that we have learned to solve a word problem? So we first learned equal groups pictures. We've learned arrays. We've learned a strip diagram and repeated addition. If you don't remember what these are, I'm going to show you on my notes how to use these strategies to solve the problem, okay? Okay, my friends, so here is my math journal, and let me just move that. Okay, so hopefully you can see. So I have the word problem in my math journal. Remember, this is my math journal. And then I have a word problem right here, okay? So I am going to, the action is put together equal sets. So I'm going to write that right here. And remember, put together equal sets. Let me move this closer so you can see what I'm writing. Hopefully that's better. There we go. Okay, so I'm putting together equal sets, and then the operation is multiplication. So to put together equal sets, remember, because I'm putting together 2 cupcakes, and then I have to put that number together 4 times because I gave 2 to 4 of my friends, okay? So it's multiplication. Okay, and then we are going to wait for this statement later. Okay, so now remember the strategies that I can use include, so remember how we would, this is our last math journal that we did, which was a long time ago, which was in March. So, but remember, you need to use pictures, okay, numbers, and words. We're not going to use words, but we're definitely going to be using a lot of strategies that are considered pictures and then numbers, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I have my 2-column notes and then my strategy. So the first thing I'm going to start with is pictures. So the pictures that I can use are an equal group picture. And then let me show you what that would mean. Basically, your equal groups are going to be your circles. So my groups are in this problem are the friends. So I have friend 1, friend 2, friend 3, and friend 4. So those are my 4 friends. And then I need to put 2 cupcakes in each. So I'm just going to draw X's. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then that's my picture. Okay. The next thing that you can do is a strip diagram. And actually, we usually always do this first, but it's okay. So strip diagram. I'm going to use my 2, actually it doesn't matter. So this would be friend 1, friend 2, friend 3, and friend 4. Okay? Now, some of you were drawing your strip diagrams like this in the on our activity on Seesaw. So this is what we usually do. 2 on top, 1 on bottom for the whole. But this would mean that there's only 2 groups. So this is what we use for addition. This would not be correct. This would be addition, not multiplication. So you want to show your groups next to each other. Like this is friend 1, friend 2, friend 3, and friend 4. And then on the bottom, you're going to draw that whole strip to show the whole or product. Remember, product is what we call the answer for multiplication. Okay, so, oops, sorry, you can see my hand. Okay, so we are going to put 2 in each. So you can write just the number 2, or you could draw 2 X's. It's up to you. I'm just going to draw the number 2. Okay, and then up here, you can skip count, and same with here. You just count your X's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8, or 2, 4, 6, 8. So our product is 8. Okay? Next strategy is for pictures, an array. Okay? So remember, an array, you can use rows for your groups, or you can use columns. So first I'm going to use my rows. So I'm going to draw my rows. Remember, rows go from side to side or horizontally. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. Each row is a group, or in this case, a friend. Friend 1, friend 2, friend 3, and friend 4. Okay? So then I'm going to draw 2 X's in each row to show my cupcakes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay? And then I would have 2, 4, 6, 8 cupcakes. So this is for my rows. If I'm using columns, which I'll write columns over here, I'm going to use not horizontal lines, but vertical lines. So friend 1, friend 2, friend 3, and friend 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. See that? Okay. Now, let me just open up my notebook to show you. Now you can move on to numbers, which will be our equation. Okay, so let me just fold my paper again. I have another word on back here that we're going to do. Okay, so here are my strategies and then my examples. Okay, So now I'm using numbers. Okay, so numbers, the only way that we've learned how to use numbers is repeated addition. So I'm just going to write using repeated addition. But I'm also going to show you another way to use numbers, okay? Using something that we already know, okay, after this. So repeated addition would be kind of like our equation. So you know how we usually, let me go back to that. This was solving money, but remember, we would always write an equation right here with our strip diagram. So this would kind of be like our equation, okay? So we're going to write 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 because we have 4 groups, friend 1, friend 2, friend 3, friend 4, 2 in each group, 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, now, you can also use numbers using an empty number line like we have used all year, okay? But it would basically be the same as this, you're just going to use an empty number line. So all you do is draw your empty number line, and then your jumps would be your groups. So since I have 4 groups, I need 4 jumps, and then it's plus 2, plus 2, plus 2, plus 2, 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so now, as you can see, I have my pictures, all the different strategies that we've learned, and then my numbers. Okay, so now our statement. So let's look at that question. How many cupcakes did Miss Baum bake for her friends in all? So I'm going to use the words in my question. I don't need that word. I don't need that word. I don't need that word. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to move this word around. Miss Baum baked blank. I'm going to put this over here for her friends in all. So I'm going to copy these words exactly in the order like I've taught you. Miss Baum baked, and our answer was 8. And then remember, I'm moving that word right here. Cupcakes for her friends in all. Okay? Okay, let's do another word problem together. You're going to be doing today. So you're going to be looking for a multiplication, solving word problems, day 1. You need to click on it. So there are a lot of directions, okay? You have 3 word problems. Let me show you. Here's word problem number 1, number 2, and number 3. You're using the same steps for every word problem. You need to read each word problem, use a pencil tool to circle important information. You're going to box the question. For each problem, you need to show these 3 parts. You need to represent your work using pictures. You can draw equal groups, strip diagrams, or an array, just like I showed you, okay? So you don't have to use all 3 like I did. You can just choose the one that works for you. That's why it's called a strategy. So you can use equal groups, you can use a strip diagram, or you can use an array, okay? And then you need to write a repeated addition equation using a text box or the pencil tool, okay? You can write a repeated addition equation, or you can also use an empty number line, okay? But I would rather you use repeated addition equation, just so I know that you're practicing that strategy, okay? And then you need to write your answer in a complete sentence using a text box. You need to make sure that you have all 3 of those parts for every word problem, okay? That's why I showed it to you in my math journal. So you can use the pencil tool to circle the information and put a box around it, the question. You can use the pencil to also draw either your array, your strip diagram, or your Google Group picture, and then use a text box for that repeated addition equation, and then a second text box for the statement. Okay, friends, good luck.